I was born in New Jersey. You know, people make fun of New Jersey and say, well, they sometimes say it's the bad part of America, but it's not at all. It's beautiful. It has beautiful farmland. So I kind of grew up near those areas in New Jersey. My major influence in food and liking food was number one, I like to eat it.
Okay.
Number two, my mom wasn't a great cook.
Okay.
And I had a best friend whose father was a big restaurateur in Newark that had, it was a Portuguese section. And I would go with her and her family down there and dine in these Portuguese restaurants. And even as a young kid, you wouldn't think that I'd be attracted to the sausages, the delicious fish, such great fish. And we grew up having fish in our household because we also went to the Jersey Shore all the time. Well, I think in honor of you and all the people I love so much, let's do something, a take on I'm going to call it a West Indian bouillabaisse. It's a take on like the European style bouillabaisse, which is tomato based. This one's going to be coconut, lemongrass, or fever grass, which they call in the islands. We're going to salt and pepper all these beautiful fish. And let me tell you, my fish, because of fishing, is always the best. I always tell people maybe in a past life. I don't know where, why, or how, but I've had a connection with the islands for a long, long time without ever having gone there until I was in my early 30s. I was attracted to the sun, the water, the fishing. You know, where I lived in Jersey was beautiful, but come wintertime, it got gray, dismal, and it wasn't to my liking. Unfortunate to my parents, I decided to pack up my car. I drove to Florida on my own, and I decided that my dad had exposed me to fishing. And I decided to get what they call a six-pack captain license. Now, but I would take charters from Miami to Bimini. We'd go diving if they wanted to go diving. If they wanted to go sport fishing, I was a very good sport fishing guide and captain, and I could bait hooks, and there's these things called kites, outrigger kites. I would, you know, get live bait and we'd hook marlin, we'd hook sailfish, and you know, we would release them, and it was great. I'd go to the docks when we pull back in, and most of the people that chartered me, of course, were from the Northeast. And so we had a little connection of the Northeast thing. And you know, they're staying in hotels, so they didn't want their fish. So what I would do is either sell some of the fish at the docks, clean it and sell it, make a little extra money, or I'd take it home and cook it. And I became very proficient in cooking fish that was fresh out of the water, day-boat fish. I now have some clarified butter in my pan, and I use a black steel pan for a reason. I like the flavor it creates in my fish. It's a black steel and not a grill. And I've salted and peppered all my fish. I've got big dry pack scallops, so there's no water in them, no preservatives. I have day-boat fish, which is grouper, snowy grouper caught in very deep water. I have cobia, which is a very clean farm-raised fish with no chemicals or antibiotics. I've got my salmon and some shrimp. One of the main things I want to do is color off my fish. That means,
yeah, you were telling me.
Coloring fish means, or putting a sear on it. I'm searing in the flavors, but I'm going to give my dish color, which is very important to me in everything I do. The presentation has to be as appetizing as the food, as the flavor, and as the dining experience. An Ortonique is a citrus fruit out of Jamaica. It was indigenous to Jamaica. It is a Seville orange, a tangerine, and a unique fruit. So Delius and I talked about, well, should we name it Ortonique? And in the beginning, again, our friend said, are you crazy? Why are you naming that restaurant Ortonique? Well, you forget it once. Once you forget it and you're explained what it is, you never forget the name again. Now here is what makes it. You have to have bread, you have to have your rice. And this is also, if you do have to take it home and heat it up the next day, it's all these delicious sauces that'll make it work.
Wow, this is the dish, and let me see where we, first of all, I'm gonna go to, oh, this is good. This is good, and I'm gonna get some of this.
I feel really blessed that because of where I am in the culinary field, I am asked to travel to Europe and cook. I'm asked to travel. I did it. And I was in shock over it. I was more shocked than anyone. All my friends were like going, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I said, I can do this. I can do this.